What if the guy at the dealer counter has been quietly overcharging you for years, and he knows it? Somewhere in your garage right now, there's a mower running worse than it should, costing you more than it needs to, and nobody at the shop is ever going to tell you why. Before we get into it, hit that like button right now, not for me, but for your wallet, because every trick in this video is going to save you real money. Subscribe if you're tired of shops treating you like an ATM. And send this to the one guy in your life who still pays full price for everything mower related. He needs this more than anyone. Now let's talk about why dealers call these tricks illegal. They're not illegal in the legal sense. Nobody's going to arrest you for doing your own oil change. They're illegal in a different way. They're the tricks that break the unspoken rules of the service industry. The rules that say you bring your machine in, you nod along, you pay whatever number shows up on the invoice, and you don't ask too many questions. The second you start doing these things yourself, you stop being a customer they can quietly overcharge. That's why nobody behind the counter is rushing to teach you this stuff. It cuts straight into their bottom line. So let's start with the biggest one, the one that alone can save you hundreds of dollars over the life of your mower, and it takes zero extra effort once you know it. Stop buying the dealer's oil filter. Here's the truth nobody tells you when you walk in for a service. Almost none of these small engine companies actually manufacture their own oil filters. They don't have some secret factory building special mower filters just for their brand. They call up a parts manufacturer, order a batch of filters that already exist, slap their company logo on the outside, and sell it to you for triple the price. The filter inside that box is often the exact same filter, sitting on a shelf at your local auto parts store for a fraction of the cost. Think about that for a second. You could be paying $20 for a filter that costs $6 somewhere else, and the only difference is a sticker. This isn't a rumor, it's how the parts industry actually works. Most small engine manufacturers don't run their own filter production lines. It's not profitable for them at that scale. So they outsource it to the same handful of companies that make filters for cars, trucks, and boats. Brands like Fram, Wix, and Baldwin often produce the exact same filter that ends up in a dealer-branded box with a massive markup attached. So here's what you do. Find your mower's oil filter part number. It's usually stamped right on the filter itself or listed in your owner's manual. Then search that number online along with the words cross-reference. Within seconds, you'll pull up a chart that shows you the exact match from a cheaper brand. Once you have that number, you never need to buy the expensive version again. You just walk into any auto parts store, grab the cheap equivalent, and install it exactly the same way. This one change alone, done every single oil change for the life of your mower, can save you real money year after year. It costs nothing to look up. It takes the same 5 minutes to install. The only difference is where your money goes. Now let's talk about something even sneakier, because this one isn't about a part. It's about what you're pouring into the tank. Have you ever grabbed gas at the pump without really reading the label? Most people have. And if you've ever filled up your mower's gas can at a pump labeled unleaded 88, because it was a few cents cheaper, you may have just started a slow motion problem inside your engine. That fuel is E15. It contains a much higher percentage of ethanol than regular gasoline. And here's the part almost nobody tells you at the pump. Small engines are officially excluded from using it. Not discouraged, excluded. Environmental regulators and consumer safety groups have both confirmed that this fuel isn't approved for lawnmowers, trimmers, chainsaws, blowers, or anything running a basic small engine. Why does it matter so much? Ethanol behaves almost like a solvent once it's inside your fuel system. Over time, it breaks down the small rubber seals and diaphragms that keep your carburetor working properly. Cars can usually handle these higher ethanol blends because they have onboard computers constantly adjusting the fuel mixture in real time. Your mower doesn't have any of that. It's running on the same basic carburetor design that's been around for decades, with no computer, no sensors, and no way to compensate. So what happens if you keep using it anyway? Slowly, quietly, those seals start to degrade. You might not notice anything wrong for a while. Then one day your mower won't start, or it runs rough, or fuel starts leaking somewhere it shouldn't. By the time the symptoms show up, the damage is already done, and now you're looking. Gee, at a carburetor rebuild that costs far more than the few cents you saved at the pump ever did. The fix here costs you absolutely nothing. Just look at the pump before you fill up your gas can. Most stations are required to post a warning label directly on the E15 handle. Takes 2 seconds to check. That's it. That's the whole trick. Skipping the wrong fuel is free insurance against a repair bill you never needed to create in the first place. Now, once your fuel situation is sorted out, let's talk about diagnosis. because this is where shops make some of their easiest money. Picture this: your mower starts sputtering. Maybe it stalls out halfway through the yard. Maybe it just won't start at all no matter how many times you pull that cord. What's the first thing almost everyone assumes? The carburetor is bad. That assumption sends people straight into buying expensive carburetor rebuild kits, or worse, hauling the whole machine into a shop and paying a diagnostic fee before any actual repair even begins. But here's what those shops already know and rarely mention. Before you ever touch the carburetor, check your fuel filter first and flush the line while you're at it. A clogged fuel filter creates almost the exact same symptoms as a failing carburetor. Rough idling, weak power, total failure to start. It's a cheap little part doing a big job, and when it gets blocked, your engine simply isn't getting the fuel it needs, no matter how perfect your carburetor is. The fix takes minutes. Grab a can of carburetor cleaner, do a reverse flush starting from the carburetor side, and replace the fuel filter with a new one that costs just a few dollars at any hardware store. That's it. No teardown, no expensive parts, no shop visit. Always check the cheap part before you ever pay for the expensive one. It sounds almost too simple to be true, but that's exactly why it works. Shops don't lead with a cheap fix because the cheap fix doesn't pay their bills. Now let's move to something that has nothing to do with fuel, and everything to do with a service most people assume is already being done for them. If you own a riding mower or a zero-turn, there's a good chance your machine has grease fittings scattered across the frame, the spindles, and the moving joints. These fittings need regular grease to keep metal from grinding against metal. Most owners assume that when they pay for a seasonal tune-up, this step is automatically included. It's part of the service, right? Not always. In fact, this is one of the most commonly skipped steps in the entire industry. Owners who have pulled their machines apart after a complete service have found fittings that were still bone dry, never touched. The shop charged for a full tune-up, and one of the simplest, cheapest maintenance steps got quietly skipped. Why does this matter so much? Because a dry spindle bearing doesn't fail quietly. It fails expensively. Replacing a single spindle bearing, once you add in labor, can easily run you a couple $100. If multiple bearings fail around the same time from years of neglect, you could be staring at a repair bill that costs more than a used mower. Compare that to the actual fix. Greasing every fitting on your machine takes about 15 minutes with a basic hand pump grease gun, and the grease itself costs less than a cup of coffee. If you're mowing hard through the summer, check those fittings every few weeks instead of waiting for some seasonal reminder that may never come. The whole point is catching a dry spot before it turns into a bearing failure, because a dry fitting doesn't make noise until the damage is already permanent. Don't wait for a squeak to tell you something's wrong. By then, it's too late. While you're already down there checking fittings, there's another spot almost everyone overlooks completely, and it's hiding in plain sight. Most people swap out their air filter once a season and consider the job done. New filter goes in, old filter goes in the trash, case closed. But the filter itself is only half the story. The housing around it and the seal that holds it in place matters just as much. Here's why. If that housing has a crack, or the gasket around it is compressed, torn, or missing entirely, unfiltered air can slip right past the new filter you just installed. It doesn't matter how clean that filter looks. If air is bypassing it through a gap in the seal, dirt is still getting into your engine. And that dirt isn't harmless. Fine particles act almost like sandpaper once they're inside your cylinder, grinding down moving parts with every single stroke. It happens slowly, quietly, long before you'd ever notice a performance problem. By the time you do notice, you're not looking at a filter replacement anymore. You're looking at engine where that can't be undone. So next time you're under that cover, don't just glance at the filter and move on. Check the housing too. Look for cracks. Check that the gasket is seated properly and hasn't compressed flat over the years. This matters even more if your mower spends the winter sitting outside or getting knocked around in a shed, because that kind of rough handling is exactly what cracks a housing nobody thinks to inspect. That's 5 tricks down already, and every single one of them costs less than $10 and takes less than 30 minutes. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the rest of this list, because the next few tricks are the ones that actually stop people from wasting hundreds of dollars on repairs they never needed in the first place. Let's go back to fuel delivery, because there's one more misdiagnosis that costs people more money than almost anything else on this list. Imagine your mower is hard to start, or it's flooding, or there's a strong smell of raw gas coming from the exhaust every time you run it. What's the first thing people usually blame? The carburetor. Again, People go straight to ordering a brand new replacement carburetor online before ever checking the simplest possible cause. In most of these cases, the real problem isn't the whole carburetor. It's one small piece inside it, the float, and specifically the level that float sits at inside the fuel bowl. If that float sits too high, fuel floods the chamber. You'll notice a strong, unburnt gas smell, rough idling, and sluggish response every time you hit the throttle. If it sits too low, the opposite happens. Your mixture runs lean, which means harder cold starts and a stumble right off idle. Here's the good news. This isn't a parts replacement job at all. It's a simple adjustment, bending a small tab inside the bowl by a fraction of a millimeter. That takes just a few minutes once you know exactly where to look. Most of the carburetors people replace unnecessarily didn't need to be replaced at all. They just needed that tiny adjustment. All that money spent on a brand new carburetor never needed to leave their wallet in the first place. Now let's shift from the engine's fuel system down to the deck, because this next mistake is one that almost everyone makes without even realizing it. Every spring, people sharpen their mower blade. It feels satisfying, right? A sharp blade means a cleaner cut, but here's the step almost nobody does afterward: balancing that blade before bolting it back on. An unbalanced blade doesn't just look a little uneven while it spins. It creates real stress on your engine, on your spindle bearings, on the entire deck, every single time you mow. Over a season or two, that constant vibration accelerates wear on the spindle, the belt, and the pulleys around it. In fact, a lot of spindle bearing failures that people blame on cheap parts are actually caused, at least partly, by an unbalanced blade shaking things apart bolt by bolt, week after week. The tool you need for this costs almost nothing. It's a small cone-shaped balancer you can find at any hardware store, and checking your blade takes about 30 seconds once it's sharpened. That balancer is a lot cheaper than the spindle bearing you'll end up replacing 2 seasons later, along with the labor to install it. And here's the thing people miss. You should check the balance every single time you sharpen the blade, not just once a season, because even a slightly uneven sharpening job can throw the balance off. That imbalance stays completely invisible until the vibration starts showing up somewhere else on the machine, usually somewhere expensive. Now we're heading into something that scares a lot of people, because it looks like the end of the road for their mower, when it usually isn't. Imagine you lift the hood and notice oil smoking out of the breather or soaking straight into your air filter. Your first thought is probably that the engine is dying. A lot of people panic at this point. Some scrap a perfectly good mower over it. Others start pricing out a full engine rebuild they can't really afford, assuming the worst has already happened. But before you assume anything, check the crankcase breather first. Here's what's actually happening in a lot of these cases. A blocked breather causes pressure to build up inside the engine case. That pressure has to go somewhere, so it forces oil straight into the combustion chamber, which can look and smell almost exactly like worn piston rings or a blown head gasket. It's a symptom that mimics serious internal damage closely enough to fool almost anyone who isn't specifically trained to look deeper. The fix, more often than people expect, is a cheap breather part and about 10 minutes of your time. That's it. No rebuild, no replacement engine. Just a small overlooked part doing exactly what small overlooked parts do best, causing big problems until someone finally checks them. That brings us to the advanced trick on this list, and I want to be honest with you about it up front. This one is a real project. It's not a quick fix. You knock out before dinner. Set aside a Saturday afternoon if you want to actually attempt this one. If you own a riding mower with a hydrostatic transaxle, chances are your owner's manual describes it as sealed for life. That phrase alone convinces most owners to never touch it for the entire time they own the machine. So when the drive starts feeling weak, sluggish, or begins whining under load, most people assume the whole unit is finished. They start pricing out a full replacement, assuming there's nothing else to be done. But mechanics who actually work on these units regularly describe it differently. Sealed doesn't mean unserviceable. You can change the fluid yourself. It involves removing the transaxle from the frame, turning it upside down, draining the old fluid, and refilling it properly. It's not glamorous work, but it's absolutely doable in a home garage with the right tools and enough patience. Owners who have done this after noticing sluggish or sticking pedals have reported the symptoms clearing up completely once fresh fluid went in. And it's worth asking the obvious question here. If this fluid can be changed, why didn't manufacturers just install a simple drain plug from the start? It's a question even experienced mechanics still ask. The synthetic fluid inside these units is rated for a huge number of hours before it needs attention. But eventually, it does need attention. This isn't a beginner project, and it's not for everyone. It takes real time, the right tools, and patience you can't rush. But think about the difference in cost. A brand new transaxle can run you close to what an entire used mower costs. Fixing the one you already have costs the price of fluid and an afternoon of your time. And now we've arrived at the closer, the one trick on this entire list that mechanics genuinely argue about. Because unlike everything else so far, this one carries real risk if you get it wrong. Adjusting the governor spring for more RPM. The appeal is obvious the moment you hear about it. More RPM means more power, faster blade tip speed, a mower that feels noticeably stronger while it's cutting. Plenty of people online treat this like free performance sitting right there waiting to be unlocked. I'm not going to sell it to you that way, because the truth on this one genuinely splits down the middle depending on who you ask. Here's the warning that matters most. Adjusting the governor spring incorrectly carries a real risk of serious engine damage. Over-tightening it can force your engine to run at dangerously high RPM, which leads to overheating, accelerated wear on internal components, and in the worst cases, sudden and complete engine failure. And on top of the mechanical risk, this adjustment will void your warranty without any hesitation from the manufacturer. Some mechanics claim certain engines can handle a mild increase just fine under the right conditions, but even the ones who say that will admit this is the one place on the entire list where things can go wrong fast, and where a mistake gets expensive in a hurry. I'm including it because it's real, and plenty of people still do it anyway. But out of everything on this list, this is the one where you need to fully understand what you're risking before you ever touch that spring. So here's where all of this leaves you. Cross-reference your oil filter instead of paying triple for a logo. Skip the wrong fuel at the pump and protect your carburetor for free. Check the cheap parts, the fuel filter, the float, the breather, before you ever pay for the expensive fix. Grease the fittings your dealer skips. Check the seals nobody bothers looking at twice. Balance your blade every time you sharpen it. And if you're ready for a bigger project, the transaxle fluid and the governor spring are the two spots where extra caution actually matters. Everything else on this list just takes a basic toolbox and a free afternoon. That's the entire difference between the person standing at the dealer counter staring at a bill they didn't see coming, and the person who already knew exactly what was wrong before they ever walked in the door. None of this requires a mechanic's background. None of it requires a garage full of specialty tools. It just requires knowing where to look before you hand over money for a problem you could have fixed yourself in less time than the drive to the dealer takes. If this saved you money, or saved you from a repair bill you didn't need to pay, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next video might save you even more. And before you go, drop a comment telling me which one of these 10 tricks you didn't already know, or which one you've secretly been doing for years. I read every single one.